Hey, man. All right. So here lately, I don't know that it's organized. Can't be organized. That'd be ridiculous. But I've been getting some comments lately on one or two videos, similar videos, militia videos like this one, and it's people being very, very, condescending. Well, you don't understand the meaning of the phrase "well regulated." If you did, you would know that. All right. Let's do this. What the hell does the Second Amendment mean? What does the phrase "well-regulated militia" mean? This is important because these condescending jackwagons, to quote the gunny, are making these statements in the context of the Second Amendment, and what they're saying. Uh, this a child is photobombing us without photobombing us. Hey, baby, control yourself. You were just making noise. Just wait. Fix your face. Hey, fix your face. Fix it. Good girl. All right. And so what they're saying, the verbiage of the Second Amendment is a well-regulated militia being necessary to a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Incredibly simple statement to you and me. You and me, we hear this and we go, oh. But what these morons are saying is that the Second Amendment only applies to a well-regulated militia. A well-regulated militia being necessary to a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now, on its surface, this is ridiculous. This is utterly stupid idea. What they're saying, then they say, okay, so it only applies to a well-regulated militia, and now they define a well-regulated militia to be any military force organized by the government. So what they say the Second Amendment means is that you're allowed to carry guns if the government tells you you're allowed to carry guns. This is on its face, prima facie, a ridiculous idea. Utter balderdash. Governments have always been allowed to arm themselves. For our government to say, oh, we have a right to arm ourselves would have been laughable, especially in the Bill of Rights. Remember, the Bill of Rights were amendments to the Constitution that were put in there to protect the rights of the people. So to say that in the Bill of Rights, when all of the other amendments in the Bill of Rights apply to the people, that there's this one that applies to the government, giving the government a right that every government's always had throughout history is utter lunacy. It's moronic. Anyone who tells you the Second Amendment is about arming the militia and the militia is defined by the government, these are idiots. These are morons. These are stupid people. But what does it mean? What does it mean what a well-regulated militia is in the context of the Second Amendment? Truth of the matter, it doesn't matter. The well-regulated militia is what's called a prefatory clause. I forgot to look up what prefatory means. But basically, it's not the operative clause. The operative clause of the Second Amendment is the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now, everyone throughout all of history up until like the 1930s agree with this. There's a court case in the 1930s that starts adjusting things a little bit. I can't remember what it's called. Two guys took a sawed-off shotgun across state lines, and the court did this little and sort of flipped the dial 1 degree. Common sense gun control. That's how they do it. And the court kept doing it a little notch at a time until it had to dial all the way over here to 11. So when someone makes this argument to you, first off, you tell them, shut the hell up, they're idiots. The operative clause of the Second Amendment is the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. James Madison said this when he proposed the Second Amendment. I'm going to link to an article from Reason.com. I don't know anything else about Reason.com. I just found this article today, brushing up on this topic. It's an excellent article. It'll be in the link will be in the description. You should look it up. It doesn't matter, but as regards to the Second Amendment, it doesn't matter. Well, what it does mean, and I'm going to go into this a little bit more, is that this question starts at the end. It starts at a well-regulated militia. And so it says, we need a well-regulated militia. Then it comes back a step and tells us why, because it's necessary to a free state. Then it tells us how to achieve it. So the people have to be armed. The people, the right to keep and bear, which means carry, arms, shall not be infringed. So it starts over here and comes back over there. So it starts, thank you, baby. It starts at the end and works its way back to the beginning. So what the jackasses will tell you, and I meant to do something different, and I always get the details wrong. What the jackasses will tell you is that, okay, well, the Second Amendment only applies to the National Guard. Here's why. They're idiots. We just showed you why they're idiots. Prima facie is stupid. Government's always had the right to arm itself. The Constitution actually restricts the government's right to arm itself. Remember, the Constitution prohibits a standing army, at least as it was written. It probably still does. I don't know. I don't know if there's been an amendment on that or not. I should look that up. But the Constitution starts out disarming the government. Government can't have a standing army. You know, there was no like FBI, no U.S. Marshals. The government was completely disarmed when the Constitution was written, and the people were completely armed. All right? So the Second Amendment is about arming the people. George Washington said the arms of the infantry was the birthright of the American man. But for argument's sake, what is a well-regulated militia? Well, based off of what our founding fathers thought and what the court thought, what was that guy's name? Oh, dadgummit. He's in that article. We talked about him in another video. We talked about Liberty's Palladium. Can't remember that guy's name. It's a great quote, though. I should be like tattooed on my forehead. All the way through all of our history up and starting in the 20s and 30s, the well-regulated militia just meant this: a man who was armed. The militia was all able-bodied men. A well-regulated militia was an able-bodied man who was armed. That's the definition of a well-regulated militia. A well-regulated militia is the able-bodied men are armed. Now, to achieve that, this is why I wish I'd brought the shotgun out, because what the idiots will tell you when you point that out to them, they don't want to deal with the fact that you have the right to overthrow your government. That scares them because they want to be the government, and if you can overthrow them, that obviously they don't want that. So they'll tell you things like, okay, well, I tell you what, the Second Amendment will be about your hunting rights. Well, it says nothing about hunting rights. It has nothing to do with hunting. If you'd have told our founding fathers that you could regulate hunting, they would have shot you. They would have put your back against the wall and they would have shot you. George Washington would have given the command to fire if you told him that you had the right to regulate another man's hunting. He would have simply, he would have called the firing squad himself. Then they'll say, okay, well, it's not about hunting, so it's about your right to self-defense. I tell you what, we'll allow you a self-defense weapon in your home so you can defend yourself. It's the first right of nature, fine, whatever, we don't like it. But we can still pass all kinds of laws about it. It's not about your self-defense. It's not about, can I have a 17-shot 9mm versus a 6-shot revolver? It is that you are the militia. You are Liberty's Palladium. You have to be able to scare the government. When the people fear the government, there's tyranny. When the government fears the people, there's freedom. A well-regulated militia is in front of you right now. An able-bodied man with a weapon. That's it. That's a well-regulated militia. That's what your founding fathers thought it was. That's what it is by the Constitution. That's what it is to the Federalist Papers, James Madison, Thomas Jefferson. That guy's name I can't remember. That drives me nuts. John Story. Go watch that video. Maybe I'll try to look it up. I've got a bunch of videos on this topic. But when someone tells you that the Second Amendment only applies to a well-regulated militia, well, remind them what the militia is. It's every able-bodied man. And remind them what well-regulated is. It's not regulated by the Congress. The Second Amendment does not give the Congress the right to arm itself. The Second Amendment gives you the right to arm yourself against the Congress. You're the militia. Be well-regulated. Appreciate you, man. Thank you.